Everybody, welcome. We're just outside the temple here waiting for the people to arrive. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. I hope you've had meditative moments, happy moments, and I hope you're here excited to create some more awesomeness in yourself. Here we are. We've got some people arriving and some other people already here. And Ed, I think let's just make our way in, and as more people arrive, they can just join us also. So I'm going to give all of you out there in VR land a little see of what it's like as we are here in VR. So as we're entering the temple, get yourself ready. Slow down. There's always different things happening. It's good to check in with the part of our mind that is more still and more powerful. Calming your breath, calming your thoughts, connecting with that steadfast part of you that is unshakable, that is powerful, that is awesome. So let's start by setting our intention. You know, some of these groups, they'll read the same thing for their intention setting every time. They'll make that repetitive thing something that, as you practice it more, becomes more powerful. That idea that what we practice is for ourselves and for those we care about and for everyone in the world, or indeed for all beings in the universe. Every time we make ourselves kinder and a force for peace in the world, that ripples out and makes more people peaceful. Some of those ripples may reach someone who would otherwise have caused massive suffering. And as the world fills with more peace bringers, we bring more peace. Perhaps over the next million years, our species may go out throughout the solar system, possibly even to other solar systems. Who knows, with technology, perhaps we could reach faster than speed of light and expand throughout the galaxy. So as we are practicing today, perhaps the change you will have on the culture around you as it spreads and it continues to expand out. Perhaps you will be part of making the future human civilization that fills our galaxy a more peaceful, mindful, kind civilization. Perhaps you'll shift us from being a civilization that might fight when we find other life to a civilization that is profoundly loving and kind. And even if you don't want to think that big picture, I hope you can think about doing that on a more immediate level. Bring peace and kindness into your own interactions. To help your friends be kind and patient and understanding. So welcome to everybody here in the temple. Welcome to those of you out on the live stream. Welcome to those of you who are watching this in the future. I hope that sharing this time together is enjoyable, is beneficial, is beautiful. So let's just have a quick hello to everyone here in the temple. Can you guys all wave to everyone out on the live stream? All right, great to have you all here. And then back over to me. All right, so we can grab a seat and Let's begin our session. For those of you who just arrived, we began with our intention setting, where we were just getting ourselves ready that this time we want to make it something beneficial for you, whether that's to make more peace, to make more confidence, to be more empowered. I hope you make of the practices and lessons from today something that's awesome for you. But we're also setting a bigger intention that welcome. So we're setting the intention that the good stuff that we practice today, that rubs off on our friends and on our community, and hopefully brings positivity to the world. All right. And I see Kikyo, welcome. I'm not sure if you've ever been to one of my sessions before. In general, I start with a quick intro. We do like a welcome practice, perhaps is a meditation or a relaxation. Then we have a discussion, and we'll often finish with another meditation or something to internalize and strengthen the positivity that we've made. Cool. So, does anyone have any thoughts, questions, or requests to get us started? In one of our group chats, I put out the idea that we'll make tonight about mindfulness. So if there's no particular requests, I'll just dive into learning about how we can cultivate more mindfulness. All right, let's bring it back to me. All right, so mindfulness. It's a term that's gotten much more popular over the last few years. I know when I was younger and I learnt mindfulness meditation, I really didn't hear anybody else using that word outside of meditation circles. But in the last decade, it's been used much more broadly in popular psychology and popular culture. And depending on how you approach mindfulness, it can mean subtly different things. And those different things can actually really help in different situations. So I'm going to describe the approach I take to mindfulness. And I want you to know that sometimes when people use the word, they all mean different things. And I guess I want to emphasize that when you approach training your mind, a subtle difference in how you do it can make a really big difference. Like if I told you to play a song and you were hitting like half the notes and getting the other half not right, the song wouldn't sound as beautiful as if you're hitting every note. And it's a similar thing, or maybe not even getting the notes right and wrong. Playing a punk song sounds different to playing a classical piece. It impacts us differently. And the same is true of different styles of meditation. They can feel very different, they can impact us very differently. So I hope that you'll pay close attention to the specifics of what I'm saying, or the way that I guide the meditation, or the ideas we share. Also, you might have heard of mindfulness before, but I invite you, try not to assume that what I'm saying is the same as the other thing you've heard. Try and hear what's like unique about this. Just as if you were listening to a new song. You're trying to hear that song for what it is. All right, so to everyone who's just arrived, tonight we're going to be looking at training our mind to be more mindful. And when I say that word, I mean a few things that to me fit together very well. Part of it is learning to see what you're thinking and feeling. You know, a lot of times in life, we react to stuff. Something happens and you just naturally are happy or angry or sad, or you just say the thing that you think's a normal reaction to whatever's just happened. We do these reactions without even really noticing it. So when we practice mindfulness, we're actually teaching our mind to see what you're doing more. Not only does that help you notice when you're being kind or encouraging to yourself or others, it can also bring a bit of space in between what happens and your reactions. So something might happen that in the past you might have got upset about, but when you've been practicing mindfulness, you're like, oh, okay, there, that thing was said. Now, how do I want to react? And just having this little extra layer of, of time, of thinking space, you can choose to be much stronger, more peaceful, more wise in whatever happens in your life. So I think that's really beautiful. Learning to observe our own mind gives us this awareness and gives us this extra space. I had one meditation teacher describe it to me almost as if most of the time an untrained mind is sleepwalking through life. Stuff happens in a dream, you just react to it. Another thing happens, you just react to it. And the idea was, as we practice being mindful, it's like we're waking up another level of consciousness. You get to choose more completely what feelings do you want to bring into your day. What role do you want to play? All day long, you're all playing the role of you. But maybe you want to spend a little more time being like the wise, kind version of you, or the peacemaking version of you. Or maybe you want to step into the part of you that's wildly confident, or the party animal version of you. Or maybe you even want to step out of a version of you and imagine the most wild party animal, enlightenment bringer, laugh bringer the world's ever known. Like, let your mind explore other ways of being. And this is what I mean by waking up. You get to step out of just whatever your habits are and start to choose what role you want to play in your life. You start to choose what are feelings you want to practice, what attitudes you want to practice. You can even change your skill levels. I used to be not very good at sport, and I was always just telling myself, oh, I'm not very good at it. And then when I learned about self-transformation, I started to imagine, hey, what would it be like if I was better at that? How would I move if I was doing that well? And as I started practicing being better, I just got a lot better. So yeah, mindfulness, self-awareness, it gives us this ability to observe, to let go of things that don't serve us, and to create new ways of feeling and being. How does that sound? All right, some thumbs up from Claxon, some head nods. Excellent. Jake, thumbs up.
Sounds great.
Ed, sounds great. Nice. So I see a bunch of you who I haven't met before. So welcome to these sessions. I really want to emphasize, I'm putting this on for you. I want this to be not just good ideas. I want this to be awesome for you. When I learned about this stuff, it radically changed my life. And I'm hoping the same thing for you. I want you to make the most of it. If I share an idea and sort of half makes sense, please try and clarify. However you do that. Maybe you want examples. Maybe you want to ask questions. Maybe you want to tell a story. Hey, is this how you'd apply that? Is that the right thing that I was thinking? Make these sessions awesome for you. We're a community. It's all about encouraging and helping each other to be great. All right. So with that said, I was saying mindfulness is about learning to observe our mind. And as well as observing, making a bit of space between observation and reaction. And one other nice thing that can come along with mindfulness meditation is, as we're practicing making that space, we can actually find that inside of us, there's an even bigger sense of peace, an even more powerful sense of calm. Some people say that it's beyond words, or they use poetic or mystical language, but I like to try and think about how it might actually work when we're meditating. So if you imagine your brain, billions of brain cells, they're all firing off right now. Some of them are listening to me. Some of them are helping you sit up or lie down or whatever posture you're doing. Some of them are still feeling something that happened to you today. A few of them are feeling something that happened to you yesterday. You just got all these brain cells just firing off all the time. And they're all going at different frequencies, and there's different patterns and networks. If you stop for a moment, just look into your own mind right now, you're like, oh yeah, I can see my brain's doing a lot of things. Now, observing your mind like that, that's one step of mindfulness. And what we can do as we start to observe our mind and direct our attention, you can actually start to get more of your mind to relax and more of your mind to be working in sync. You know, I said that all these different parts are going at different frequencies. If you do a deep relaxation, a lot of your brain will actually slow down. The speed that the brain cells are firing becomes a lot calmer. And if a lot of the parts of your brain start to fire in sync, we have a greater sense of concentration. And people find if they practice that and they get really good at it, as if every part of their mind was all just meditating together. People find that it feels amazing. People find wild feelings of peace. People find they feel really spacious. Or maybe they notice, I've been carrying this worry or this heaviness for years, and suddenly I've let go of it, and it feels so light and powerful. Well, people find they feel so free that if while you're in the meditation and I just say kindness, you're like, oh, being kind is so beautiful. You're open for goodness to just feel so much more good and for it to impact you really, really nicely. So this deeper stillness, this profound peace, it's beautiful to experience in meditation, but I also love that it can actually impact you. I was describing before this gap between what happens to you and then how you choose to act. Instead of just reacting, you make this space and you choose how to act. And when you've spent more time in deep peace or in this spacious powerfulness, in that gap between event and your reaction or chosen action, in that space, you are just more peaceful. You are more powerful. You are more resilient. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Mindfulness meditation, observing our mind, having time in peace, learning how to guide our attention, and hopefully you'll even have some time where you feel that deeper sense of oneness, of stillness in your mind, resonance in your consciousness. Right. Any questions or thoughts before we try our first mindfulness exercise for the day. Let me just check on the live stream. Love to hear from you out there. Can I see with a nod or a thumbs up or a celebration or an iffy? How does it sound, what I just said? We've got some love hearts, some thumbs, some nods, some dances. Excellent. More love hearts. You guys are great. And I just want to say, some of what I said might sound far out. Like, what is it for your consciousness to be deep and in sync? Sometimes some of these states you just have to experience to be like, oh yeah, now I get what you're talking about. So I hope it made sense and it sounded great, and maybe you experienced it as I described it. But if it sounded far out, I hope that I'll get you into some of those states today, or at the very least give you a glimpse of how awesome they can be. Right. Welcome, Zeitgeist. We're just about to start our opening meditation. So in some mindfulness classes, they do this practice where they get people to just focus on their breath, and then you just notice what your mind's doing. Hey, I'm trying to just breathe. Oh, I'm thinking about that thing from yesterday. Oh, no, but I want to just breathe now. Oh, but I'm thinking about that thing, but I want to breathe. And you kind of just notice what your mind's doing, and you're learning to guide it. And if you practice that enough, you get better and better at guiding and focusing on your breath. And you get better and better at seeing when your mind's doing something else and dropping that, coming back to the breath. And as you keep practicing it, you get more fully immersed in the breathing, and you can feel that state of your whole mind concentrated together. And you'll get to the point where you see that your mind's starting to put a thought together, and you're like, no, I'm meditating now. So you can catch it before the thought even comes into your attention. It's pretty amazing when you're watching your consciousness so closely. I like to, rather than just let you just sit and try and breathe, which for some of you will be great, and for some of you could be frustrating or not fun, I like to help guide you to get you started. So this is what we're going to do now. I'm going to guide a breathing meditation, and I invite you to just enjoy the process. If you dive straight into complete oneness, and every moment of the breath is pure peace, everything else disappears, and you're just total tranquility and feeling your whole mind unified, that's awesome. But for many of us, you're not going to get into the 10th level of immersion straight away. I'm going to put out that idea again. Some of you may drop deeper into immersion than you've ever done before. But the idea is we're training our mind. So whatever your mind is doing, we want to enjoy it. We want to be fascinated by it. Some days, as you're focusing on your breath, it will feel nice and soothing. You'll be able to catch your attention and immerse it in the breathing. Some days it'll feel different. And if you were having one of those days, approach it with curiosity. Hey, I'm just learning how to observe my own mind. Maybe after a little while, you'll find the part of you that directs your attention, and you'll be like, here I am. I've arrived. Okay, I'm directing myself more fully back into the breath. And maybe you won't. You just keep observing trying to see where is my attention, what's going on. Let's come back to my breath. Just playing with how to guide your attention. But mostly I'm trying to emphasize that whatever's happening for you, I just hope you enjoy it, that you're fascinated by your own consciousness. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to start with our posture, just because getting our body feeling good and focused and energized is a pretty good first step. So when I check in with my posture, it made me sit up straight and put my feet flat on the ground. But I just invite you to check in with your posture. Maybe you've got your legs crossed on a cushion. You can wiggle your butt, adjust your feet. Maybe you're sitting back in a really comfortable chair. And as you feel the posture, you might want to just adjust to get more comfortable. Or maybe you'd feel like sitting up more. And just invite everyone to think of the idea of relaxed alertness, dignified, energized, powerful peace. And with that idea, just feel your posture a moment more. And some of you have done many body scans, so you know how to feel through each little part of the body and line everything up. But if that's new for you, I invite you just to imagine that. Check in with your feet, check in with your legs, check in with your lower back, check in with your shoulders and your lungs. I find taking a really deep breath while thinking about my posture helps me line up my posture in a way that feels really good. Then when you feel your shoulders and your arms, you notice your hands. Maybe you'll just see what you want to do with your hands today, what feels good right now. Right now, for me, I wanted to bring my hands together in my lap. Sometimes I have them resting on my legs. Sometimes I have my hands open on my knees. Just feel what feels good for you right now, what lines up with the rest of your posture. You move your hands, you probably notice your elbows move and your shoulders move a little bit. Just feeling your whole posture coming into alignment. You're feeling your spine and your neck, your head. And I want everyone to move back and forward just a little left and right. You're just feeling your spine coming into alignment. Imagine in a moment you're going to let your body just be. You'll be able to just forget about your body. So that every muscle could just let go. And you would sit in perfect balance. Hold that idea as you feel your spine and your neck and your head. Every vertebrae sitting on each vertebrae, lining it up that it feels at peace, in perfect alignment. Maybe you've never paid such close attention to your body. You're not really feeling it. But I just invite you to try. Because the more we practice close attention, the more aware we become. Then I invite everyone to close their eyes. I'm just going to give you the idea. If there's any other thoughts around or any other words or anything, just try to bring your attention back into the meditation. It's you guiding your own meditation. It's you making each moment more present, more unified, concentrated. Right, and we're going to just take a couple more deep breaths while you feel your whole body with that idea that we'll be able to just forget about our body and just leave it in this nice posture. And if we forgot about our body, if it just disappeared, what would be left? That'd be our breath and our heartbeat. And maybe your thoughts for inner world. Imagine that's all that exists right now. Just your breath, your heartbeat, and your own awareness. We want to be able to watch our awareness really closely. And so to do this, we want to bring all of our attention onto our breath. Imagine all your other thoughts are just going to stop, and every part of your mind is all going to look at your breath, feel your breath, hear your breath. Every spotlight of your consciousness is being focused onto that place in your nose where the breath is coming in and out. And you'll have some moments where that feels really powerful, really immersive. And I invite you to just keep bringing every moment into that concentration. You notice you're thinking some words or some other thoughts happening. Try to play this little game. What if, as quickly as I could, just let that go, bring more of my attention into the breath. I'm learning to see my awareness in every moment. It's pretty amazing. Keep watching your breath with fascinated awareness in every moment. Any other little sensation in the body, just let it go. My body is dropping deeper into meditation. Any thoughts or words we're thinking, imagine them letting go. And then your thought just becomes the sound of the breath, letting it go, dropping more deeply into meditation. Any ideas or concepts that arise, just for now we can let them all go. Just seeing what it's like to let everything stop, dropping deeper into meditation. you're thinking about meditation. Just for now, we can even let go of that. We're trying to just experience your attention. Experience the feeling of the breath, the sound of the breath, just observing your consciousness. And it's pretty amazing. Some thoughts feel fast, some thoughts are slow, some have different feelings in them, physical sensations, be in different places in your body, different qualities or different intensities. But I invite you to notice it with fascination, but try to not even think about it. You notice something in your awareness, you just let it go as completely as possible. Just bringing each moment more into your breath. The more you let everything settle, the more the meditation becomes beautiful, powerful. We'll have just a minute or two more when we'll come out of the meditation. And for this last little bit, I just want you to notice. Did you have some time where the breathing felt like it caught your whole awareness? Maybe it was 20 seconds, or maybe 10, or maybe 1 second. Maybe you had a half a second where you were really immersed. Maybe you could notice how it shifted how you felt when I said we'll come out of meditation soon. Maybe you can remember what it felt before I said that. Yeah, you actually shifted gears. Maybe a little bit, or maybe a lot. And just reflect on, was it interesting to observe your mind? Was it nice to go into this peaceful feeling? You could imagine how good it could get if the peace felt twice as good, or 10 times as good, or a billion times as profound. And we're going to keep watching your mind. Watch yourself. When will you choose to open your eyes? Or keep watching. What are you going to think? Just keep watching your attention. And imagine if all day long you had this part of you that was watching your attention. Wherever you were, whatever you're doing, you had this part of you that was a little more peaceful, a little more powerful, or maybe massively more peaceful and powerful. Imagine if this part of you, this awareness, was just with you all day long. All right, so I'm just going to ask everyone at the back. There's a lot of seats at the front. Can everyone come in? We've had a few people come into the door and just be kind of squeezed at the back. So, yeah, if you're sitting down, come forward a few rows would be great. Welcome everybody. It's great to have you all here. Lots of new faces for me. I hope you've been enjoying it. And there's a tradition I like to do here is after we meditate, have a little time to share. But I hope to make this in a way that kind of still keeps us in the vibe. So I invite people to share. But first of all, I want you to share how it felt good, or share what was fascinating, or what you observed. We kind of just enjoy the good bits of the meditation first. And then after a little while of that, some people might have some questions about the technique, or you wanted to share something else that happened. So yeah, I'd love to hear how the meditation was for you. If you're brand new, please jump in as well. Anyone would like to share? How was it? Claxon?
I reached a deeper level of meditation there than I have before. Not anything like groundbreaking. I'm still a beginner, really, but it was enough to know that, yeah, you can get better at it, and it feels good to be able to sort of swat aside all the little thoughts that would get in the way.
Awesome.
You get better at doing that too.
Thanks so much for sharing.
So,
When you think about it, do you think there was something different about how you approached it that maybe took you deeper?
yeah, you've mentioned this before in other sessions here, and so I tried to apply it, but it's just the strength of focus on just breathing, just the air going in your nose, your lungs, and then the air coming out of your mouth, and just focusing on that with it's not like relaxing into it is relaxing, but it's still a state of, you have to maintain a state of focus, pretty strong focus. And it feels good, despite the amount of effort.
Yeah, it's wild how strong focus can make such a peaceful spaciousness. But yeah, thanks so much for sharing. Yeah, that makes me really happy. Would anyone else like to share? Fax machine?
Yeah, thank you for hosting this session. It's been a really long time since I meditated, so this was nice to come back to. I noticed that I thought about meditation itself more than usual, closer to back when I started. One thing that really helped me when I started out was that there's no such thing as being bad at meditation. If you notice more stray thoughts, then that's just, that just gives you another opportunity to refocus. But I noticed that that particular thought kept popping up, which was kind of ironic. Which, yeah, I guess is something that'll fix itself over time. But yeah, thanks again for hosting this.
Welcome. Another way of approaching that idea is you might think that throughout the day, you're going to be having lots of thoughts. You're not going to be just in breathing. And so actually the skill of noticing all the stuff that's happening in your mind, that is amazing in itself. Like throughout the day, if you're just noticing what you're thinking all the time, that's a total different level than if you're just having thoughts and reacting to yourself and reacting to stuff without being aware of it. So awesome job for you to be noticing your consciousness. And I noticed you just said that you haven't really meditated for a while, so I'm really glad you're here with us, and I hope that you really enjoyed it, and I'm happy that we provided a space for you.
Thanks, I'm glad I was invited.
Good job to whoever invited Fax Machine. So we do this every week, so you're always welcome. Would anyone else like to share?
I can.
Please.
It's very interesting that mindfulness, the general focus, is your mind, and yet you're checking in with your body to further, deeper understand it. And I find that concept fascinating. For me, a lot of the time, like for example, if I ever got into an argument with another person, I feel compelled that I need to engage with that person. And I guess what's great is that I can utilize this tool to kind of check myself before I wreck myself, is the way I would like to put it.
I heard two things you were just sharing. One was like the body as opposed to the mind. And then there was do you have to engage or not? So yeah, that freedom, it's so good to hear you say that. You being able to choose where you put your attention, your energy, and your emotions, and not wrecking yourself. That's awesome. And then I wanted to say something about the first thing you said, checking in with your body or your mind. I actually like to think of, we say mindfulness, but I actually like to think of it as it's like consciousness. So when I say awareness of our mind, generally, I actually mean thoughts and feelings and images and our body, like any part of your consciousness. I like to treat all of it as some conscious phenomenon. So if a feeling comes up, you might come up with a thought, or maybe you just have a feeling. Even that, I want to just come back into the peace of my breath. Learning to master any aspect of our consciousness. I know I had injuries at some time, so I'd feel some point of pain in my body while I meditated. And I wanted to just let that go, come back to feeling my breath. So I learned to have mastery over physical sensations. So ultimately, I wish for all of us to have mastery of your entire consciousness, physical sensations, emotions, thoughts, concepts, the way you think about yourself, your values, all of these different parts of your consciousness. I hope that you will be more aware and more empowered and more creative with all of them. So thanks for sharing, Ed, and pointing that out for us.
Absolutely.
All right. Anyone else like to share? I asked people to share if you had a good time, but if somebody had like a question, or maybe your mind was doing something, you're like, whoa, why was it doing that? Or how would I fix that up? Let's just open it up to whatever anyone wants to share. Let me check on the live stream. Hey, it's great to have you all out there. Please write in. We hope you feel like you're here with us just as much as everyone else. Waven, was that a hand? Waving to your friends outside the temple. Cool. Anybody? All right. So I want to just share with all of you that this practice, I hope it felt good. I hope it was nice in what we just did. But there's actually so much more power and impact it can have on us than just this little time we shared where maybe you feel more peaceful or still. The more often you practice it, not only do we go deeper into the stillness, and not only are we able to watch our mind more closely, but the impact that has throughout your day becomes just bigger and bigger. You know, I've had people, they can't believe that somebody just said something mean or confronting to a whole crowd, and I just step in with some love, and afterwards people are like, well, how did you do that? How did you not react? And I said, well, I did react. I reacted with what I thought would be the best reaction for this situation. And maybe you've all seen Buddhist monks or yogis who are doing amazing feats with their body, or they have some profound peace that's just part of them all the time. And doing this practice of watching your mind and going into that unified stillness is probably been a big part of most of those people's practice. You know, if we'd just gone to the gym and, all right, I'm going to be peaceful about the thing I just knocked over. If we'd gone into the gym and we'd been doing some weightlifting, say, and now you're like, I feel good. Maybe that was hard work. That was intense. Maybe in the next day or two, you might feel it a bit more, but you probably wouldn't really notice that you're much stronger. Maybe a little bit in a few days. But the real magic comes is if you work out 3 or 4 times a week. A month or two later, you can pick up something that you used to find heavy, and it's just really easy to pick it up. And you're like, wow, I'm stronger now. Or you can think of the same thing with other kinds of exercise. You'll be able to run up a hill and feel good, whereas before it would have made you tired. And the same kind of thing happens as we practice mindfulness and meditation. Life comes at you and something that would have shaken you up before, and you respond in a really cool way. Or some habit that you used to have that made you upset. Suddenly you notice it and you're like, hey, I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to pick something else. Or you just notice, hey, I've been getting a little happier, a little happier, a little stronger, a little more confident every day for the last couple of months. And it was just a little bit each time, but now I feel really good. But as well as these little incremental changes, you'll probably find you get better at intentionally making big changes. Claxon said, hey, I went deeper today. And the more you practice, the more you're able to guide yourself deeper into the meditation. Or you learn other mental tricks. You know, you might have seen some like wizard stories where suddenly the wizard has figured out to do this little trick and they've got this spell they can do. You can kind of do that in meditation. You're like, oh, I figured out how to dive into peace. Now I'm super chill. Or I figured out on my way to a party how to fill myself up with happiness and expressiveness. So I'm just ready to have a wild time. People will come and ask me, what have I had to get into this state of mind? I'm like, I've got infinite happiness on tap in my mind. Like the more we practice, the more we able to make these beautiful things. We learn these little tricks of what we can do with our consciousness, which I think is beautiful and special. And if I imagine a world where everybody's getting good at making happiness, making peace, transforming themselves in some way, if I compare that world to the world we have now, to me that's so exciting. Like, imagine if it was just here we are in a temple. We're talking about trading some peace or some deeper meditation. Imagine when it becomes just normal at a party to be like, hey, I just figured out how to triple my laughter. Look, I just figured out how to get up and dance like nobody's watching. Like, as it just becomes more common for us to be spreading mindfulness or awareness, the world just gets better and better. And I hope you now, even if you're a beginner or you've made some good progress, I hope you start to think of yourself as a champion, an ambassador for awareness. You're a spreader of being more conscious, creating peace, creating calm. Whether that's just you taking a deep, peaceful breath when you need, or whether that's you finding a funny way to point out some way that people think about things, showing them a way to be happier or more understanding. Everywhere, every conversation we have, there's space to be more aware, to notice the thought patterns we're stuck in, and to free ourselves and be like, hey, cool, what would be a funnier, happier, wiser way to think or be right now? All right, so Marlies has sent you all a love heart on the live stream chat. Let me put the camera on all of you. You can all send her back a love heart. Everyone get your emoji palette ready. All right, here we go. Love heart storm, everyone. Woo. And anyone out there on the live stream, you might have heard me say this before, but it actually feels like you're swimming in floating love hearts. So if you get a chance to try out VR and come into these worlds, I hope that everybody gets to experience this. Can I get a nod or a smile from those of you who are here, like, that you love virtual reality? Isn't it just beautiful? You know, I feel like I'm actually sitting here with you guys. even though I don't know where you are, all over the world. And here we are sitting out around. And you're a cat, you're a pig, you're a pixelated dude with sunglasses. It's pretty wild. But here I am actually hanging out with you. I think it's hilarious and awesome. And I actually have found that when I'm hanging out with people who have had some achievements in meditation, it's almost like you're hanging out in a different world. The way that people react to each other, and the love and support and understanding they give each other, or the little tidbits of wisdom that you can give each other. It's like you're making a different world when you meditate a lot. I just remember one time hanging out with a monk in the Scottish Highlands, and he just pointed out that the tone of my voice when I'm thinking about meditation, just watch it. And so then I was like, okay, watch my next breath. Oh, watch my next breath. And suddenly, my brain had just changed into this different state. It was just one sentence this monk had given to me, and boom, it was a tool that's been with me forever. And yeah, just like hanging out in virtual reality, we get to come into these different worlds and experience different sides of each other. Meditating a lot and hanging out with meditators, it's like you're stepping into a different state of consciousness when you hang out with them. Somebody says something kind of wise, and then someone else gives a knowing smile, and then everybody gets the insight, and we kind of all laugh and feel the joy together. Yeah, we can make more and more beautiful ways of being the more we meditate and practice. So I'm excited to be here with all of you and to be practicing together, and I hope you are all as well. Oh, we've got a bunch of stuff on the live stream chat. Ed also sends a love heart. Marlies is laughing at the love bath you all sent us. Hello, Merc. Hey, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. So you've been practicing something recently. Sorry it took me a minute to see what you were talking about. Do you want to remind me of what it was you've been practicing? So you call it intentional planting. Planting my intention of happiness and growth in every part of your life. It's so beautiful to hear. All right. And sorry for not being more vocal in the chat. I'm practicing being productive during meditation sessions. So you're doing your dishes. Awesome. Yeah. Meditating while doing your dishes, or listening to positive talks while you're doing your chores. That's awesome. In fact, I encourage all of you, whenever you're doing some activity where you could have some random music or some news or something that maybe isn't very helpful, try putting on meditations or inspirational talks or motivational speeches or wisdom recordings while you're doing those activities. And you will see you're just sowing seeds of goodness in your mind. You'll start having fruit blossoming. You'll have more peace. You'll have more happiness. You'll have more insights. As Hello Merc just said, you'll find yourself just intentionally putting happiness into different parts of your life. You'll find yourself putting more love and kindness into yourself. Yeah, your brain is amazing. 100 billion brain cells that could be doing anything. So let's get them all pointing to awesomeness. How's that sound? Right. I just want to sit back and chill for a moment. So I'd love to hear any thoughts. If you're a regular and you want to share some ways these sessions have been helpful for you, or if you're brand new and you've got some questions, I'm going to just turn it over to everybody who's here right now. Oh, hello, Merca said, you were talking about motivating people in the moments of life so they grow and are happier as well. So as you've been planting happiness and growth in different parts of your life, that's also planting that happiness and growth into the moments you share with others. So beautiful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing. Right. Anyone else want to share or ask or anything? Ed, you look like you've got something on your mind.
No, I was just looking around, seeing other people.
Awesome.
Granted, I guess I have something that I've been thinking about. This is not
Please.
really religious in the way I would think, but in the terminology, if you think about it, I'm thinking about the importance of like faith or hope in something, because usually throughout, I've come to realize when I'm reflecting upon stuff, at least I'm usually a bit of a pessimist, and I've realized that the problem is whenever you rely upon those thoughts don't motivate you to do stuff to actually improve yourself, or basically either improve yourself or get yourself out of a dark position. I've realized that sometimes something like sometimes something such as faith, as in trust that something is going to be better, is basically something that is that can be actually very empowering to people and do a lot with people. It does not have to be religious in this context. It could be like faith in yourself, faith in stuff like the future. Like another, I've realized that at least when it comes down to many things, there's also much. It's also like the cynicism in today's society almost. I'm probably thinking a bit different.
Oh no, I love what you just said. And yeah, it is a bit different. I was talking about peace or happiness as something you could practice. But as I hear what you just said, I thought about spending some time to practice believing things will be better, or practice faith, whatever that means for you. Practice faith
Granted,
in humanity. And I actually love that. That sounds
granted they
really
go
inspiring. Yeah.
Granted, they go hand in hand because something such as a motivation like that, or trust and belief in either humanity or hope or faith, goes hand in hand with peace of mind, because something such as a faith in the future usually can make you feel more comfortable about the present, or vice versa. A peace of mind now can shape your view of the future.
We often finish with a closing meditation, and unless something else comes up, I think I'm inspired to make our closing meditation be the theme that that you just shared, to practice faith in humanity, and to practice knowing that things will get better, that we'll get better, that we'll make things better. So I like that you changed your avatar. That's a little more temple suitable. Let me zoom in on you again, and you can just give us a smile and a thank you. Oh, this is the first time I've moved the camera around so much in a session. So those of you out on the live stream, I hope you're enjoying my
Even
antics.
smile with this avatar?
I don't know. You could do a backflip.
I guess this is close.
Yeah. Oh.
I guess this is close.
There we go. Excellent. Thank you so much. So yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Not just about faith in humanity, but just thinking about the scope of awareness. Some people, when they do mindfulness, they just think about chilling out, just being more peaceful. Some groups I've been in, they just think about it in terms of kindness, compassion, cultivation. And I mentioned, hey, you can use it to party more and be more confident, or you can use it to be better at sport. But there's whole categories where we can practice our awareness. You can practice having more faith in humanity. You can practice that you love salad. You can practice that you're really a powerful speaker. You can practice that you're in awkward situations, that you bring understanding and help people be kind. You can practice, there. Hang on, let me just check your name again. Sorry. So as Malcolm said, it's not necessarily about faith, but you can practice all kinds of things. There are people who practice believing. Well, think of all the different stuff in the world that people believe, and some of those beliefs are helpful, and some are unhelpful. Some have aspects of helpfulness and aspects of unhelpfulness. Like whatever you practice, it'll impact you. Think about some conversation you had with one of your relatives lately, and they're like, society is blah, blah, blah. And that thing they were practicing, it came with some feelings, it came with some attitudes. Every different kind of thing we practice will have different attitudes about stuff and different feelings. It'll have different ways it impacts you or impacts the way you see things. And as you become more mindful, you get to choose what is important. What things do I want to practice? What attitudes will help me? What attitudes would make a kinder world or a more unified, empowered world? So yeah, this idea of practicing faith in humanity, giving us hope so that we can have greater peace and happiness in ourselves. I love that suggestion. So thank you so much, Melon. Just thinking of vastly different categories of mindfulness. And I want to inspire you guys to share other things you could think of. I remember once I was with a bunch of my friends and they were listening to heavy metal music. And I had learned as a kid that heavy metal music was just, I don't know, they have demons on their album cover and it's just wild noise that's unenjoyable. So I was sitting there just like, this is not fun. My friends were all sitting there going, yeah, just loving every second of it. And I remember noticing, hey, we're all here in the same situation. They're having a good time. And I'm causing myself suffering. I reflected upon that for a little bit. And then I decided to watch them closely and listen to them closely. And I remember them describing how it's like classical music, but just sped up. And they were just describing the intricate, beautiful musical patterns that the musicians were creating. And then I remember watching how they danced to it. And it's definitely not the way I'd ever danced. But I saw the happiness and enjoyment in the way they danced to this intensely fast music. And I just started copying it, emulating it. And then suddenly I found this happiness and excitement in the music. Whereas a few minutes earlier, it had been suffering. And to me, that was wild. Just intentionally putting my consciousness on one aspect of life and changing it so quickly. And then I did a similar thing with opera music a little while later. And then I think I did it with one other kind of music somewhere. And then the floodgates opened. And then every style of music became enjoyable to me. I've done a similar thing with different flavors of food. So if anyone thinks of other categories where you can apply mindfulness, please shout out.
I guess I guess I can say something that I've always done with my thing. This is a bit more personal, but throughout my life, I've always struggled with anxiety issues. And I've realized that in my job, I work on like a phone line, for instance, where I can get people on the other end who are very stressed out.
Mm.
I've learned that even just a small bit of like a 1-2 breath is useful whenever I have like an anxiety or something to calm myself down or get myself into a level state of mind whenever there's something intense. That's a bit more of a utilitarian version of it, but
Ah, if you think about all the people in the world who are having anxiety somewhere or other, and if they could just bring some peace
yeah.
into those moments, I mean, just that alone would be enough to radically improve the well-being of so many people. So thank you for sharing, Malum.
Yep.
So what is it that you do? You just focus on, you said a 1-2 breath, so you remember a peaceful breath, or what is it that you
Basically
do?
just focus on my breath. Just focusing on my breath. It's the simple, the simple like breathing exercise where you just focus on the breath. There's no like breathing technique because sometimes when you're in a situation like that, because sometimes there's very little time, so it's usually like it's more like a I would call a micro meditation. So it's like
Mm,
1 2. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but it really depends upon the time and the availability.
awesome. Well, I hope everybody fills their days up with more micro meditation. Beautiful, Malum. Thank you. Some of you may have done a lake meditation with me. And we've done something similar where, yes, you can make your breath catch your attention, and that's soothing in itself, or you can um, make the feeling of each breath be peaceful. That's really nice. But I mentioned the lake meditation because there was that feeling of jumping in the lake, and then all the storm disappears and you just splash into peace. And so if you're in an anxious situation and you just take a breath and imagine everything just disappearing, I'm peace. If that's something you've practiced, then that is a trick you've got up your sleeve. And that's just one of millions of meditations, millions of attitudes you can practice. Malum described it as a quick 1-2 breath. So many different attitudes or mental tools we can practice and use when we need. Thank you so much, Malum.
You're welcome.
I'd love to hear from those of you out on the live stream. How is this with me, my camera flying around so much? All right, so I think it's about time for our closing meditation. I've never guided a meditation on the topic of faith in humanity. So, if you're willing to indulge me, I'm going to set the intention that I'll take us into this creative space and cultivate more faith in humanity. All right. Is that a yes? You're going to indulge me? I didn't hear anything. Is this okay? I got a couple of thumbs up,
Me,
I'm open to it. It sounds
Yes,
cool.
yes.
a couple of curious looks.
I guess
Let's try it. All right. Hello, Merck. I'm loving it. Feels really involved and immersed in the space. Excellent. I'm really glad. Sorry about my not great camera techniques. I'll meditate on them being better, and I'll practice them being better. And Ed's written, "We shall overcome." Beautiful. All right. So let's begin our meditation. And I'm planting my feet flat on the ground. moving my hips around, getting my armrests out of the way. You do whatever you have to do to get your body feeling centered and strong. If your eyes are still open, I invite you to close them and actually feel your eyelids closing and resting. All of us together, we can set the intention. We're going to be practicing more faith in humanity. What does that actually mean? We're setting the intention that we'll feel better about others. We'll believe that we can be a positive influence, and that we'll focus on the people who are doing good. Just take some deep breaths. Feel that intention. Right now, you're giving yourself some time to cultivate, to practice faith in humanity. I want to start with one really great example. And that is you, right now. Here you are, practicing goodness. It's really beautiful. And all the other people here sitting together. When I think of that, it just warms my heart. Makes me happy. I almost feel a little tear of joy. Just really letting myself see that. Maybe you weren't even meaning to come to a meditation. Maybe you just found us by accident. I still want you to cherish you. How lucky is this? You've fallen into a place where you're taking some time. We've been making ourselves more empowered and more conscious. Having more kindness, more belief in humanity. That's just beautiful. And as you're feeling that and appreciating it more, you can imagine that you're practicing this so that each day you'll have more joy, more hope, more positivity. You're practicing hope and positivity. It's beautiful. You're giving yourself this gift. And then I invite you to just let your mind wander. I want you to think of other people you know who do good. Maybe it's doctors or nurses, firefighters, volunteers in your local community. Maybe it's activists. maybe it's community builders. Probably billions of people who put a good amount of their time into really doing good. Just try to feel that. Try to see all of those different ways that billions of acts of goodness, billions of people trying to do good, trying to do what they think is right. Strengthen your breathing and let this goodness impact you more powerfully. If other things arise, people doing bad or people not doing enough good or people doing good in the wrong way, sure, you could spend time practicing that. It doesn't help me. I guess it probably doesn't help you either. Or maybe there's a time and a place for it. Just remind yourself, practicing just purely feeling that hope, that faith in humanity, purely cherishing all of those good deeds. How many of the people doing good deeds did you see in that meditation we just did? Was it 1 billion or 2 billion? I'm guessing it was probably more like 50. Try to let yourself feel more completely. All the parents that are trying to create an environment of kindness for their kids. All the teachers trying to spread consideration. All the peace and reconciliation workers. All the people saving animals. all the people saving the environment. All the people who are working on human rights. Just let yourself feel that appreciation, that love, that faith, that inspiration from all those people. Now you're going to guide your own meditation. You can choose to think of more of those people, to see those individuals or to see those organizations. Feel how many they are, or to feel every person or animal that's been helped. Or you can choose to meditate on how you will be each day, inspired with much greater faith in humanity. Or you could choose to practice how you think about, how you talk about humanity. Or you could choose to feel how you will do more good for humanity. Or maybe you'll just go deeper into meditation, immerse yourself in goodness and see what arises. Or maybe you'll do something entirely different. Everyone, just guide your own meditation for a few minutes. Anytime you need, you can just come back to your breath, set your intention that you're cultivating faith in humanity and hope and inspiration for yourself. You just keep coming back to that, making it stronger, practicing in whichever way will be most helpful for you. Imagine your faith in humanity, kindness, and goodness guided every part of you, your entire self being purified. Any bit of judgment or feeling bad towards others, or anger or hopelessness, was all just being washed away, filled with light and love, goodness. Imagine your whole self being hopeful, being kind, being a force for good, being a mirror that reflects all the goodness out to everybody. And I invite everyone to bring your hands to your heart and just think of everybody here meditating together. And appreciate what we've all just shared together. If you're here in the temple, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and to look around at the other people here. Give them a little knowing bow, a little caring smile. See the specialness in each person here. And even if you don't believe it, know that other people see the awesomeness inside of you. They know that goodness will grow and overcome. So to those out there on the video, may you have meditations each day, micro meditations to infuse goodness into your moment, deeper meditations where you cultivate this profound awareness, stillness, power, when you practice being aware in every moment. You have space between what happens to you and then how you act. Make that space, that time, beautiful, powerful, wise. May we have hope in humanity, hope in ourselves, hope in each other. And I hope you set the intention, the things you heard today, you'll contemplate them, you'll practice them, you'll sow them as seeds in the garden of your heart and mind. You'll tend to them, you'll meditate on them more, you'll grow them, you'll feel them more, and they'll get bigger and stronger than you can even imagine now. You'll sow those seeds in others as we fill the world with awareness, kindness, hope, and positivity. Hope you dedicate this session to that vision. We all dedicate our practices to that vision. Together we are making a better world.